Away from the crowd. You stop performing. You stop trying to be what everyone else wants you to be. And in that silence, something incredible happens. Your will, which was scattered across 100 different demands and desires, starts to gather. It concentrates. Think of your will as an army. In the chaos of daily life, your soldiers are dispersed, fighting tiny, insignificant skirmishes everywhere. One platoon is worried about what your boss thinks. Another is trying to craft the perfect social media post. A third is replaying an awkward conversation from last week. They're all busy. They're all expending energy, but they're not united. They have no single commander. Solitude is the command tent. It's where you, the general, call all your troops back. You silence the noise, you shut out the distractions, and for the first time, you can hear your own strategic command. This isn't passivity. This isn't weakness. This is the quiet before the storm. It's the archer pulling back the bowstring, gathering potential energy in the silence, feeling the tension build. The world only sees the arrow in flight. It doesn't see the long, silent moment of aim and focus that preceded it. Real power doesn't need to announce its arrival. It arrives. It acts. The results speak for themselves. The world is full of people trying to convince others of their strength. The truly powerful are too busy building it to have time for a press conference. So, where do you find this solitude? It's not about booking a cabin in the woods for a month, though that might be nice. It's about carving out moments of intentional disconnection. It's the walk you take without your phone. It's the 15 minutes you spend in a quiet room before the family wakes up. It's choosing to listen instead of immediately reacting. In these pockets of silence, you're not just resting, you're recalibrating. You're asking the fundamental questions. What do I actually want? What are my core values, separate from what I'm told they should be? When you consistently do this, your instincts, which have been tamed and domesticated by social pressure, start to reawaken. They reconvene under one commander. Your authentic self. Your actions start to align with a deeper purpose, not just a fleeting impulse or the desire for approval. You stop reacting to the world and start acting upon it. This is the formation of the quiet will. It's the slow, deliberate process of becoming the architect of your own life, not just a tenant in someone else's construction. The shift is subtle at first. People might not notice. They might even think you've become withdrawn or less engaged. They're used to the noise. They're used to the performance. They don't understand the work being done behind the curtain. But then, one day, you make a decision. A calm, clear, unshakable decision. You launch the project. You leave the job. You set the boundary. And the force of it surprises everyone. They wonder where it came from. It came from the silence. It came from the hundreds of quiet moments where you gathered your will, aimed your intent, and prepared to act. This is the prelude to decisive force. In part 2, we turn this silence into strategy. We'll break down how to withdraw without disappearing, how to identify and reclaim the energy leaks that keep you domesticated, and how to make your quiet will the most formidable force in the room. Come and withdraw below if you're ready to pull your power back from the noise and start forging it in the quiet, or in the office it's attacks. It's someone, or something, renting space in your head without your permission, and you're paying for it with your mental peace. You wouldn't let strangers just walk into your home and take things, so why do you let them barge into your mind and steal your energy? The cure is to become ruthless aristocratic in selecting your inputs. This means consciously choosing what you allow into your awareness. It's about building a fortress around your mind, not to shut the world out, but to control the terms of entry. You become the gatekeeper. Does this piece of information serve my goals? Does this conversation uplift me or drain me? Does this notification require my immediate attention? Or is it just noise designed to pull me away from what truly matters? Creating distance is a powerful tool in this process. This doesn't mean you have to become a hermit and move to a cabin in the woods, although that does sound nice sometimes. It means creating psychological distance. When a provocative email lands in your inbox, you don't have to reply immediately. Let it sit. When a controversy erupts on social media, you don't have to have an opinion. You can simply observe, or better yet, log off. You create a buffer zone between a stimulus and your reaction. In that space, you reclaim your power. This is where time becomes your greatest ally. Time is a filter. Most of the urgent, dramatic, world-ending problems of today will be forgotten by tomorrow. By refusing to engage instantly, you let time do the heavy lifting. You let the trivial fade away. The things that are truly important will remain. They will withstand the test of a few hours, or a few days. By then, the emotional charge will have dissipated, and you can approach the situation with clarity and logic, not with a knee-jerk, adrenaline-fueled reaction. Think of silence not as an absence of sound, but as a border, a strong, well-defended border around your inner world. Anything that doesn't have a valid passport or real purpose, a genuine connection, a positive contribution doesn't get to cross. What doesn't cross your border doesn't get to shape you. You stop being a passive receptacle for the world as chaos, and become the active architect of your own experience. The endless stream of information, the opinions of strangers, the manufactured outrage, they all bounce off your silent border. They don't get to implant themselves in your psyche and influence your thoughts, your mood, or your decisions. This is a radical act of self. In a world that is constantly screaming for your attention, choosing silence is a declaration of sovereignty. It's saying, my focus is mine. My energy is mine. My peace is mine. You're no longer playing a defensive game, constantly swatting away distractions. You're playing an offensive game, proactively designing a life of focus and intention. You decide what matters. You decide what gets your energy. The rest is just noise, and you've learned to tune it out. You've built a sanctuary inside yourself, a place where you can think clearly, feel deeply, and act purposefully, free from the taxation of external noise. This isn't about ignoring the world. It's about engaging with it on your own terms. It's about choosing depth over breadth. Instead of knowing a little about a lot of pointless things, you can know a lot about the few things that genuinely enrich your life. You're trading the chaotic static of the crowd for the clear signal of your own inner wisdom. Next, we weaponize this calm. When you stop reacting, you'll find that the people who thrive on provoking you suddenly lose their power. They need your reaction to feel significant. When you offer them nothing but calm, deliberate silence, manipulators suffocate. Save this and come back for part 3, where we explore the mirror effect of silence and how it reflects people's own intentions back at them. What happens when you refuse to dance and the music keeps playing anyway? We've all been there. You're in a conversation that suddenly feels less like a discussion and more like an interrogation. The questions get faster, the tone gets sharper, and you feel this rising pressure to respond, to justify, to explain yourself right now. That pressure, it's not an accident. It's a tool, and it's a powerful one for people who seek to control. Think about it. A controller needs an audience. More than that, they need a reactive audience. Your reaction is their oxygen. Every quick defense, every flustered explanation, every emotional outburst, it's fuel for their fire. It confirms to them that they have power over you, that they can pull your strings and make you dance to their tune. The moment you react, you've entered their game on their terms. But what if you stopped playing? This is where the power of the mirror comes in. The mirror isn't about reflecting their anger back at them. It's about reflecting their behavior back to them through your own stillness. It's about introducing a deliberate, almost uncomfortable pause into the conversation. This technique is rooted in Stoic philosophy, the idea that while we can't control what happens around us, we have absolute control over our response. So, the next time you feel that pressure mounting, try this. Do nothing. When they fire off an accusatory question designed to get you on the back foot, don't immediately leap to your own defense. Instead, just hold their gaze. Stay silent for a few seconds. Longer than feels natural. Let the question hang in the air, unanswered. This isn't about being rude. It's about reclaiming your space and your time. It's a quiet declaration that you will not be rushed. In that silence, something fascinating happens. The dynamic shifts instantly. You're no longer the prey, scrambling to escape. You've become the axis, the quiet center around which the entire interaction now has to bend. All the energy they were throwing at you suddenly has nowhere to go. It bounces off your silence and hangs there, exposed. This is the moment of truth. An honest person, someone genuinely seeking to understand, will use that silence to clarify. They might rephrase their question, soften their tone, or ask if they've misunderstood something. They will see your stillness and interpret it as thoughtfulness, giving you the space to formulate a proper response. Their goal is connection, not control, but a manipulator. It's a void where their power should be. Your lack of reaction is a direct challenge to their authority, so they will try to fill that silence, and they will almost always escalate. The questions will become more pointed, more aggressive. They might accuse you of ignoring them, of being difficult, of hiding something. They'll try to provoke any reaction, even an angry one, because any reaction is better than none. Their goal isn't understanding, it's submission. By simply being still and quiet, you have created a test. You've held up a mirror, and they've shown you exactly who they are. You didn't have to argue. You didn't have to accuse. Their own intolerance for a pause revealed their intent. This technique works not just with silence, but with deliberate delay. If they send a rapid-fire series of demanding texts, don't answer immediately. Hibahit, an Orin Hibahita day. Watch how their tone changes. The initial demands often morph into frustration, then manipulation, and sometimes even veiled threats. You're just observing, you're gathering data. This isn't about playing games. It's the opposite. It's about ending them. It's about refusing to participate in a dynamic that is designed to diminish you. By answering slowly, or not at all, you'll communicate that your time, your energy, and your peace are yours to command. You are not a vending machine where they can insert a question and get an instant emotional snack. This shift from being reactive to being a quiet observer is one of the most powerful moves you can make. It forces the other person to confront their own behavior. They came looking for a dance partner, someone to spin and dip and lead across the floor. Instead, they found a statue. The music is still playing, but they're the only one dancing. And suddenly they look a little ridiculous. You didn't defeat them. You simply let them defeat themselves. Your quiet center becomes your strength. You learn that not every question deserves an answer, and not every battle needs to be fought. True power isn't about having the last word. It's about realizing you don't need to have a word at all. Your stillness becomes a statement. Your silence a shield. You are no longer just a character in their story. You are the author of your own. Part 4 turns quiet into law. Standards, boundaries, and the power of unspoken rules. Type standard if you're done over-explaining. Is, my excuses are weak. Please challenge them. But when you just say, I'm not available on Saturday, the conversation stops. There's nothing to debate. Your availability isn't a topic for discussion. It's a statement of fact. You're not being rude. You're being clear. You're treating your time and energy with the respect they deserve. And in doing so, you teach others to do the same. This isn't about being passive-aggressive or giving someone the silent treatment. This is about establishing a personal constitution. Your standards are the laws of your own life, and they don't require a public vote or a lengthy justification. When someone consistently disrespects your time by being late, the quiet standard isn't a lecture. It's simply starting the meeting or leaving for the movie at the agreed-upon time. Your action does the talking. The message is clear. My time is valuable, and I will honor it, with or without you. Your absence becomes a sentence short, final, and impossible to argue with. When a friend constantly drains your energy with negativity, the quiet standard isn't a big, dramatic confrontation. It's a vanished availability. You become a little harder to reach. Your schedule suddenly fills up. You're not ghosting them. You are curating your peace. You are silently communicating that your mental well-being is not a public utility for them to deplete at will. The space you create by pulling back speaks volumes. It says, the cost of admission to my life is respect and reciprocity, and the price is non-negotiable. This principle applies beautifully to our digital lives. How often do we feel pressured to respond to an email or a text immediately, at all hours? The quiet standard here is simple. You don't. You establish your own response times. You don't need an out-of-office order apply for your entire life. By simply not responding after 6 p.m., you are setting a boundary. People learn. They adapt. They start to understand that your time is your own, and your peace is not up for debate. They learn to respect the silence, because the silence is the boundary itself. Imagine a request comes in that you know will stretch you to thin, something you genuinely do not have the capacity for. The old way is to agonize, to craft a long-winded apology filled with excuses. The new way, thank you for thinking of me, but I won't be able to. That's it. It's a simple, unadorned no. It's polite, it's final, and it's incredibly powerful. You're not offering reasons that can be dismantled. You're presenting a decision. You are the authority on your own capacity. When you state your boundary without apology, you reclaim your power. You stop letting the world's demands write your schedule and start living by your own quiet, unshakable standards. The world doesn't need your explanation. It just needs to adjust to your standards. This isn't about being uncooperative or difficult. It's about being intentional. It asks the difference between a flimsy fence that invites people to hop over it and a solid wall that clearly marks the edge of your property. By removing the explanation, you remove the invitation for debate. Your unchanged schedule, your simple no, your vanished availability, these are not acts of aggression. They are acts of self-preservation. They are the quiet, firm, and resolute enforcement of your own well-being. You teach people how to treat you by what you permit. And silence, in this case, is the ultimate permission slip you write for yourself. It's the quiet hum of self-respect, a frequency that, over time, everyone around you learns to tune into. They don't have to like it, but they will have to respect it, because it is impossible to argue with. In the finale, we bring the voice back rare, precise, and heavy. Part 5 shows how to speak like a thunderclap after a long sky of silence. Talk. The more you dilute your own power, you leak energy with every unnecessary word, every over-explanation, every attempt to justify your existence. The real masters of influence understand a fundamental principle. Silence loads the chamber. Your voice pulls the trigger. Think about it. When you're constantly talking, you're reacting. You're on the defensive, dancing to everyone else's tune. But when you embrace silence, when you choose to listen and observe first, something shifts. You move from being a reactor to being an actor. You are no longer a leaf in the wind. You become the one who decides when the wind blows. Your silence isn't empty. It's an active process of consolidation. You are gathering your thoughts, clarifying your intent, and waiting for the precise moment to make your move. This is where the philosopher Friedrich Nietzsche's idea of value creation becomes a superpower. He didn't just argue points. He declared values. He wasn't interested in convincing others. He was right. He was interested in building a world based on what he believed was true. This is the shift you need to make. Stop trying to move feelings and start moving action. Your words should not be pleas for validation. They should be declarations of reality. So, how do you do this? It starts with structure. First, learn the art of the tight promise. When you give your word, make it ironclad. Don't say, I'll try to get it done by Friday. Say, it will be done by Friday. No wiggle room, no excuses. This builds a reputation for reliability that speaks louder than any long-winded explanation. People will learn that your word is your bond, and that in itself is a source of immense power. Second, master the clear refusal. We are so afraid of saying no. We couch it in maybes. Let me seize, and I'll get back to yous. All of which are just slow, painful yeses. Two things that drain our time and energy. A direct, unapologetic no is a sign of self-respect. I am not available for that. That does not align with my priorities. No. It's a complete sentence. A clear no to the wrong things is a powerful yes to what truly matters. It protects your focus and signals to the world that your time is valuable. And finally, make statements that move action. When you speak, don't just describe a problem. Propose a solution. Don't just express a feeling. State a decision. Instead of I feel like maybe we should consider another option. Try here is the option we are moving forward with. The first invites debate and drains energy. The second creates direction and inspires movement. Your words become the architecture for what happens next. When you finally speak after a period of calculated silence, the room will tilt. The sentence might be short, but the silence behind it was a mountain. People will feel the gravity of your intention. This isn't about being intimidating or cold. It's about having such a strong inner center, such a clear sense of your own values and direction, that your words become an extension of that immovable core. You are no longer just speaking. You are defining the terms of engagement. This is the art of thunder after stillness. It is the conscious choice to speak less, but to make every word count. It's about trading the fleeting satisfaction of being heard for the lasting impact of being respected. Let others fill the air with noise. You will be the one who waits, who consolidates, and who, with a single, well-placed word, changes the entire landscape. Declare one vow for yourself in the comments below, starting with the words, quiet power. Share this with someone you know who talks away their energy. And get ready, because in our next chapter, we're going to dive into the art of emotional detachment to lock in this new center of yours. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more.